Hello, my name is Gerardo Guzman, and we are on the weekly podcast of The Sustainable Guy. Today, we will talk about a very interesting topic, and that's energy, and how it can be a very important factor for us to have a great world during the next few years. This is the SDG number 7, that it's called Clean and Renewable Energy. Today, we will hear about 3 different demographics and their opinion on what they think about this topic and more. These were chosen by me. I interviewed each one of them, and they're very different in what they think, so it's going to be very interesting. Firstly, I chose Alejandro de la Fuente. This guy is 2 years older than me. He is amazing. He's a very good guy and someone to respect. He has its own company that installs panels in the industrial level. He knows all about how electricity works and how solar panels work. He's a very good seller. He knows how to convince you that solar energy is a great way for you to reduce costs and for you to have a better image to the world. So he also uses all other types of convincing methods for you to buy to him. He has few contracts, but those are very big because they are from very big companies. He also has a company that it's basically a system that tells you how you're wasting energy. So most of the time you're wasting energy because something is wrong with your cooling system or other stuff. So with this, it helps you how it tells you how to start basically wasting money on energy. The second person that I chose to interview is my grandfather. His name is Carlos Villarreal. He is now working for a company, a very big company, Solar Fuel, that's the name of the company. And it's not based on industrial level, but it's more of a little commerces and houses that want to save money. And he is mostly based on the fact that you can start not like spending less money on electricity with solar panels. So he saw it more of a business opportunity than a sustainability opportunity. So it's a win-win because he wins money and he is helping the world, although it's not the biggest priority for him. So I think he's very interested in the topic, and that's why I chose him for an interview. And I chose her because she was very interested on start also spending less money on electricity because the electricity costs right now are staggeringly high. So that's why another very good perspective of the topic is the ones that have this system, sustainability system. So the same as my grandfather, she was more interested on start spending less money and not on the green part, but at the same time she's helping, so why not? She's a great woman. And yeah, one interview of Alejandro, one of the questions that we made to him is, for when do you think 50% of the energy would be renewable? He says that between 2040 and 2050. This depends on how the technology will be improving and how the storage will improve. Because he says that without storage, the solar panels, at least in the solar way of producing energy, you can't have energy 24/7, because when it's dark outside, you wouldn't have energy. So he also says to me the benefits of the renewable energy This is economic savings, ways to pay less tax, and how enterprises can look better by helping the world. One other question is, how do you think is the future of renewable energy? And he says that solar panels are in the future. He says that he doesn't look at the world filled with solar panels. He thinks that in the future, in 100 years or so, newer technologies are going to be born, and it's going to be very more efficient than now, and it's going to have more benefits. While interviewing my grandfather, Carlos Villarreal, he was mostly, as I already said, he was mostly based on money and how to save more money and how to give more opportunities to people economically. But he thinks that the next 10 or 15 years will be crucial to get a 50% of energy that's gonna be renewable. That's very different from the 2040 and 2050 that said Alejandro. He says that the benefits of renewable energy is to pay less money to CFE, the company that gives energy to all Mexicans. And also, he also looks at the green aspect, and that's the atmosphere would stop receiving less toxic chemicals. So he also says to us that it's very good way to be conscious about using the energy. So for example, if you're watching the TV and the computer and the lights and the microwave and the stove, all of those stuff at the same time, so it's not necessary. He thinks that the future of renewable energy is crucial and it's necessary because the sun, at least in the solar aspect, the sun is free. He says that the sun is free, and it's only the price of installing the materials that capture energy. It's basically an investment, he's saying. He says that in 8 years you can get your investments, and the next years are gonna be pure money for the owner. While interviewing my mom, Adriana, he thinks that the renewable energy is very good. She says, quotes, "It has lots of benefits, both companies and households, because it's economically great." So basically, she's also looking at the economic part, but that's the great part. It's the way that how people can benefit, and it's a win-win for the atmosphere and for the world, and also for the user. She says that it's very far away, the 50% of renewable energy. She thinks that it's going to be 20 or 30 years for the world. The biggest benefits that she's saying about renewable energy, it's economic benefit and how you can reduce the city in where she lives. It's the most contaminated in at least in Mexico. And she thinks that it's very wrong, and maybe it's not only because of the energy on the households, but it's mostly on industry and how we're burning and fossil fuels, and the combination of all of this and energy, it's a very big part. So basically that were the 3 different demographics that I interviewed. I hope you liked it. These are very different opinions, and you can have very different opinions from these ones. At the end of the day, we are seeing the benefits on using renewable energy on very different points, and we need a change right now. So if you have the possibility, you know the benefits, you need to start changing the way you use energy in your house, at least in your house. And it's not also an investment. You can also start using less energy by turning the lights more often and going outside more often. These are some ways that you can start helping the world little by little. This is Gerardo Guzman on the Sustainability Guy. See you next week.